So why don't you mentioned food waste or food surplus, as you said. Can you tell us a little bit more about how big of a problem this really is?
Yeah. And I want to credit, right? Like in the words of Refed, who is a national nonprofit working to end food loss and waste across the US food system, that there's an absurdity. That's the word we use in Kroger world. That in the US, 35% of all food goes unsold, uneaten, all the resources that it takes to produce the food, transport the food, etc. Right? And most of that goes to waste. And I think all to state that the system, the food system, and we saw that challenged due to the pandemic, is radically, radically inefficient. And, we can point to the fact that while there's 35% of the food, right, that is unsold or uneaten, that's produced in the US, on the zero hunger side, Feeding America partners have, kind of most recently identified that 42 million Americans are struggling with hunger. And I think for us, that's where zero hunger, zero waste kind of ties together in the absurdity that grounds us in our zero hunger, zero waste social and environmental plan. But those are just staggering figures. And the problem is not just that we can talk about food surplus, the opportunity there, food loss, and food waste, but the fact that it is number one solvable, which is really puts us in a sphere of hopefulness, I think, but also one of our biggest climate opportunities, right, to impact climate and reverse what we are on the current trajectory to. Kind of ruining our planet, but like let's take the food system and its inefficiencies and highlight opportunities and gaps. And I think what's exciting for me is that Refed is also kind of really deep in the data for analyzing investment need, right? And they do estimate that an annual investment of $14 billion over the course of the next 10 years can really reduce food waste by nearly 45 million tons. I think that's just huge. Like that just gets, those are big numbers. And I think we need to humanize in some ways, but at the same time, like that's the opportunity that we're getting after. If you can take a chunk and they can take a chunk and we can all talk about it in a way that brings collective action to the forefront of what we can do. I think that's what's really important.
Yeah, you are correct about this food waste problem. I know that, having worked at the Environmental Protection Agency, food waste, if you look at the waste hierarchy in the United States alone, is a huge portion of the pie that goes into landfills. And we do a lot of work in the food production sector. Like we work with poultry companies, sugar producers, all kinds of folks. And it's amazing to me. And I don't think the average person realizes how high tech it is to actually produce the food that, we all eat. And, you look at some of these operations where they do really precision farming practices where they've got, these tractors that are running at like, they're basically driving themselves. It's almost the same kind of technology that you have in jet airplanes. And same thing in the poultry world. They have a whole process system of how they're producing the chicken and whatnot. So it's just really incredible.